Welcome back to 6-Minute Math, where we turn confusion into clarity 6 minutes at a time. Thank you for joining us today for our video on factoring simple trinomials. Make sure you are subscribed to 6-Minute Math for more future content, including tips, tricks, hacks, and ways to make your math journey easier. 6 minutes is not enough time to factor simple trinomials, but we are going to do our best, so here we go. Our key points when we are factoring simple trinomials is we are first going to create a factor u for that c value. If you don't know what a factor u is, please check out our video here at 6-Minute Math called Factoring, which is linked in the description below to catch you up to speed. We're going to find two numbers that add or subtract to that middle b value. And then lastly, I'm going to create my binomial factors using the variable given and each of the values we have previously found. So what does that look like? I'm going to factor x squared plus 7x plus 12. I have my a, b, and c value. And I'm going to create a factor u for that c value of 12. What does that look like? We have the following factor u, and I'm going to find two numbers that add to that b value. Well, I do my quick scan to see which two numbers add to 7. That would be 3 and 4. So I'm going to use those numbers, 3 and 4, separately with my variable of x to create my binomial factors of x plus 3 and x plus 4. So let's do some examples here. We are going to factor x squared plus 17x plus 30. I have my a, b, and c values, and I write my factor u for that c value of 30. That looks like 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, and 5 and 6. I do a quick scan to see which two of those numbers add to my middle b value, and that would be 2 and 5. So each of those individually plus my variable become my factors. So we have x plus 2 and x plus 15. Let's check out another example here. We're going to factor y squared minus 11y plus 24. And I already have my factor u there for that c value of 24. Now, this plus sign in front of my c value tells me I'm looking for two numbers that add to my b value. Those two numbers, after I do a scan, would be 3 and 8. The interesting part about this number is this negative. I can't use positive 3 and positive 8. So what I'm actually going to use is my y, and it's going to be negative 3 and negative 8. Those two negatives will add to this negative b. But if I multiply negative 3 and negative 8 together, I get a positive 24. Let's check out another example here. We're going to factor x squared minus 3x minus 18. I have my factor u of that c value. And now in this case, I have a negative c value, which tells me I'm looking at two of these factor u's that subtract to 3. Which two subtract to 3? Well, that would be 3 and 6. So those are going to be my two numbers in my factors. We have x and 3, and then x and 6. And because I am using my multiplication of these two terms to get my c value, one has to be positive, one has to be negative. How do I determine which one is which? Well, I just have to figure out which one will give me a negative b value when adding together. In this case, it's going to be the higher number. So we're going to have a negative 6 and a positive 3. Let's check out our last example here. We have y squared plus 4y minus 32. And I have my factor u. So again, I have my a, b, and c values. And I have this negative, which telling me which two of my factors has a difference of my b value. Well, that would be 4 and 8. So I know that those two are my numbers in my binomial factors. I need to determine which one is positive, which one is negative. Well, I have a plus or positive b value, which would make my higher binomial the positive and my lower binomial the negative. If I were to add 8y and negative 4y, I get 4y. And negative 4 times positive 8 is negative 32. Those are all the examples we have today for factoring simple trinomials. If you want to see more examples, be sure to check out our Factoring Simple Trinomials extended version, which is linked in the description below. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and TikTok at 6 Minute Math, and be sure to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment below for any topic you want to see me tackle in a future 6-minute episode. Always remember that the best way to get math is to practice math, so keep on practicing. And until next time, keep solving and evolving.